John Newmans visit the Community School of Naples so they can battle it out, finally, for us to prove who is the best small private school in all of Collier County football. I love both of these two teams coming into the season. And I've done a lot of research. I've talked to some players. I've talked to even some coaches over the past few weeks. Saw some players even on Friday night, casually taking in some football games during the bye week. But after my exhaustive research and me just racking my brain over some things here between these two, what I see is some mini powerhouses. I think they're on the cusp of building some long-term success. And I think this game on Friday night, September 26th, is going to be a prelude to who is going to eventually supersede the other one as being the best and the most desired football program from a private school standpoint. Now, let me break it down what I do like about community school, and then I'm going to take some time out to break it down about what I like about St. John Neumann, and then I'm going to ultimately tell you where I'm leaning and who I think is going to be the victor this coming Friday night. Community school. It all starts with my man, the most dynamic running back in the area for private school football, and I'm going to even add in the public school football arena, Mr. Jayvian Tanelus. Okay, he's averaging 10 plus yards per carry. He has 10 total touchdowns on the season. He's just starting to get more and more carries. Right now, I believe he's about at 58 carries on the season, and has about 600 plus yards, 616 somewhere in that area total yards. So he's averaging a 10 plus yard per clip. I said in the preseason, Coach Doug over there at community school, feed that young man, feed that young man. I saw his running back coach during the summer. I said, feed that young man, feed that young man. The running back coach told me, he said, hey, Coach Powell. He said, we know what we're doing here, okay? We know what we're doing. We're going to get him right, which they have been. They're starting to lather him up. It's led to them having a 3-win, 1-loss season. And he's been over 100 yards, 100 plus yards per game. He's starting to get more touches. Not enough touches to my liking. He's only averaging 14, 15 touches per game. But again, I digress. His running back coach told me, he said, look, man, we gonna bring him along. And then, we taking the leash off when we face St. John Neumann. So here we are. We're in St. John Neumann week. So I look for Mr. Tanelus to touch that ball. You better double up on those touches. So if he's averaging 14, 15 touches per game, he better come out of that game Friday night with at least 30 touches for this team to think they're going to have some success in that run game. So I absolutely love Mr. Tanelus because, hey, number one, he's a powerful football player. He's a great student, academic. He's a great young man in the community. He's done nothing but all the fantastic things. But come January, in 4 months, he's out of here. He's going to be in North Carolina preparing with the Duke Blue Devils. So let's get this man some touches this Friday night so community school can compete and do what they want to do. Be St. John Neumann. So that's the first thing I like about community school. Second thing I like about community school is their offensive line. Now, they got the biggest, the most cohesive offensive line in the county, and I do say in all of Southwest Florida. I couldn't verify this, but somebody told me they haven't given up a sack all year. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. But they have 1,500 pounds of offensive linemen. So when I say they got 1,500 pounds of offensive linemen, that means all 5 of those guys on average is about 300 pounds. So you got 1,500 pounds of offensive linemen in high school. Man, you hit the lottery. Matter of fact, you hit the Powerball. Okay? So that's why Mr. Tanelus is back there, running wild like he is. He don't see nobody till he in the end zone and he's close to the referee. That's the closest guy that sees him on a Friday night because of those big, strong offensive linemen who love to go forward and maul people. So I love the running back. I love the offensive line. So those are the two big factors for community school about what I like about their offense. I can't talk glowingly about anything else because when I look into the numbers, they got the leash on the quarterback. I'm deeply surprised that, all the things that I was hearing in the offseason about a community school and some of the weaponry that they were going to do there, unless they're holding back just for this night. But when I just look at the lead receiver having 6 catches for a little more than 200 yards and quarterbacks only thrown for 5 touchdowns in 4 football games, clearly they are a run-first team, which I can't blame them. The best football player on the team is the running back. So the running back is going to lead them, how they go offensively. They played they played 2 football teams, they one up, one down, so they really haven't had to lean on, Jayvian too much here because he's gotten his numbers, but they've not been dynamic in the pass game. And that's what I do not like going into this matchup, St. John Neumann, or even long-term, for community school as they make their playoff rush. I think they need to be more multiple in their offense, but they're just not. Okay, so the quarterback hasn't done much in the pass game. I don't believe he's thrown for 500 total yards. He's not a big threat in the run game. And again, like I said, he only has 5 total touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's just not what they want to do, and maybe they're not built, for that. Maybe their weaponry. And again, I know they got the tight end, 4-star tight end there, Landon over there. He hasn't even gotten that many touches in the pass game like I thought they would feature him in the pass game. So that's what I like about their offense. That's what I do not like about their offense. Now, let me talk about their defense over there at community school. I am totally shocked that they do not have the type of turnovers created over there. And they don't have the sack numbers. They got 1 interception on the year, and I believe that's by their former starting quarterback that I believe is playing linebacker over there somewhere on the defense. He has an interception. But they got 4 sacks on the season, according to Max Preps, where they put their stats. If I'm wrong, I'm just going off of what's posted online. So they got 4 sacks in 4 games. That's not getting it done in today's high school football, not with the kind of players they have over there. So I'm looking for Mr. Micah that played a big game on Friday night. He has to play out of his mind to give community school the type of chance in order to beat St. John Neumann. And I'll tell you why later when I talk about St. John Neumann and what I like about them offensive and defensive. But I'm struggling to find what I like about community school defense other than the players. Clearly, it could be scheme related. Is it the matchups? But I know they played some teams that are pretty good. I know the Calvary Christian, who they just beat, run heavy team, and they dominated that team defensively. So salute to them because that was the same team that got into a shootout versus Lady High School a couple of weeks ago. So salute to community school, and that's what really jumped them up in my personal ratings, because of head-to-head matchups. People know how I feel about Laley, and after seeing them live Friday night, and now seeing what the community school did to a common opponent, that had to impress me. So I'm very impressed with that defensive effort. But as I go through the numbers, I just don't see the type of numbers that leads me to believe this is a dominating defense. Maybe it's a bend not break defense. But again, when you're averaging just a little over 22 points a game offensively, you don't have much margin for error defensively. So if the defense could come to the party and turn their opponent's offense over and get the ball back more frequently with their offense, that's going to increase their scoring per game. That's going to be a game changer for them. So defensively, I'm going into this matchup with a lot of questions on community school side. I have faith in some of the players that I know over there that they will play good. But so far this season, they haven't been great. They haven't been dominating. So I could only suspect that it might just be a more conservative scheme Maybe they're just not putting players in the positions that highlight their talents and abilities to make the plays that they've historically have made. I just don't know. I'm speaking totally as an outsider. I haven't seen a community school alive to make a real crisp assessment. I could just look at the numbers, and they just don't jump off the page to me. So I'm going into the game questioning how good community schools defense is because they don't turn their opponents over. Okay, so keys for community school is all about the running back and the run game. Okay, offensive line superior to St. John Neumann. Running back superior. Run game overall superior. Going into this game, they have by far the best run game. They should win the rush game versus St. John Neumann. Okay, they're going to have to lean on that. It's going to allow them to shorten the game, limit the amount of overall possessions that St. John Neumann has. And the only thing, before I talk about St. John Neumann, that I want those that attend this game, who follow this game, you know, that are fans of St. John Neumann, more important, community school. Community school had a bye this past weekend. I think that might harm them somewhat because after playing 4 straight weeks, you know, you're starting to get to a rhythm, start getting to a groove. Okay, the offense, man, it's a rhythm. Offense is more rhythmic than defense. To take 2 weeks, it's going to be 2 weeks since they played their last football game. I want everybody to observe whether or not community school gets off to a slow start or not offensive. And if they do, the defense is going to have to slow St. John Neumann. The defense cannot get into this game, come out just as slow as the offense, if the offense starts slow for community school. They cannot play from behind versus St. John Neumann because community school is not built to play from behind. Community school, if St. John Neumann gets out in front of community school by 10 plus points in this game, I don't think they'll be able to run them down. Okay, so that's going to be a key factor. Did the bye occur at the wrong time? Because this game was moved up on the calendar. Remember that, okay? This game was supposed to be played later. It got moved up. And so we'll see Friday night. You know, that's a key factor. We'll talk about it once the game is over. We'll see if they started slow, if the bye week was indeed a factor in the overall success or failure for community school of Naples. Now, what I like about St. John Neumann, okay, starts with their wide receiver one, Jayden Petit. Okay, let's talk about him. He missed some time. He was out, you know, sideline with an injury, missed the game, you know, some of those other things. But all Mr. Petit is 6'5", 215, 220 pounds, electric, dynamic. He's a dog, man. You know, and that's why he's going to play Big Ten football at the Wisconsin Badgers. Go play for Penn State, but I still got time. But anyway, Mr. Petit is a monster on the outside. Now, 20 receptions, okay, 400 plus yards receiving, 9 tuds, okay? Let me play back that math. He's got 20 catches. Almost half of his catches are for tuds. 20 catches, 9 tuds. That's not bad production. He's averaging 20 yards per catch, all right? So every time he catches the ball, it's for a first down plus, all right? He's a big play waiting to happen. So what does any smart defense do? They're going to have somebody over the top of Mr. Petit. And I guarantee you every team does that, but he's averaging over 100 yards per game, all right? And he's super, super productive. All him having 2 men helping on him, all that does is slow him down. It doesn't stop him, okay? Just think about that. This man is double-teamed almost every snap, okay? And he still has 9 touchdowns, along with 70 plus. Big play waiting to happen, and he's averaging 20 yards a catch. All right. Now, I love that young man, and then I love Ronnie, who's 6'3", who's actually leading the team in receptions. He has 28 receptions for 400 plus yards himself, and he has 4 touchdowns. So They're telling me I got a guy that's 6'5" on one side. I got a guy that's 6'3" on the other side that has more catches, more yards, and has had touchdowns that wide receiver one has. That's a problem. Okay, they're responsible. There's 18 in the quarterback who I'm about to talk about right now. Peyton Martino, he has 18 total passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. So highly productive in the pass game, highly explosive weaponry. And I was just recently told that most recently they've added a third receiver to the mix. They got this young man by the name of Mr. Howard Jr., who I loved when I saw at camp as a prospect to be one of the top corners in the area. So he's like a new version of Travis Hunter. He's locking down people on the defensive corner. I believe he has 2, maybe 3 interceptions, if I'm correct. And now he's catching passes and touchdowns. So they got 3 receivers out there on the field that are dynamic for Mr. Payton that's spinning the ball that has, I believe, like 1,400 yards passing. And again, like I said, 18 passing touchdowns versus 2 interceptions. Incredibly explosive and productive passing game. Now, what else has happened? Remember early on when I talked about St. John Neumann, I said they were undeclared, unsure of what was happening in the running back room, okay? But I told you that there was one person that I was told by the coaches over there that has more upside in the room. And they were going to see what happened. That young man's name that I had mentioned, 23, Ruben Brazil, okay? 14-year-old running back who has wrestled RB1 away by showing he has more wiggle, he's more explosive, he just has that it, okay? He has that make you miss, and he's like the road runner. Beep, beep, he gone, okay? So now you got a running back now that's averaging 7+ yards per carry, has over 500 total rushing yards on the season in 5 games. Now you look at an overall offense that is multiple. They can run the ball, and they got several guys that they can throw the ball to that can catch it, make you miss, outrun you, and go into the painted turf, and the rest will do this. So that's a problem for opposing defenses. It's going to be a problem for a community school. That's what I like about St. John Neumann offensively. And I guarantee you, they're going to be aggressive, okay? If the coach is aggressive, they coach aggressive, they got aggressive players that want to make plays, and they're hungry. And I know this is the class that both community school as well as St. John Neumann have circled on their schedule. They could not wait to get to this matchup. I've talked to players all year long on both programs, on both teams, and I haven't been talking about it, but now this is game week, all year long. They've been telling me they can't wait to see that team on Friday night. So here we go. Offensively, that's what I like about St. John Neumann. Defensively, I look at their production. They have more productions in the areas that I was surprised that community school didn't have, man. When I talk about community school, only have 4 sacks. St. John Neumann has 8.5 sacks. St. John Neumann has one player, JJ, Mr. Swole Boy, Junior Joseph. He has 4 sacks himself. Okay? Team has 8.5 sacks. They have, I believe, 4, 5 interceptions on the season. I told you, Mr. Howard Jr. has 2 or 3 of those picks. And I'm looking at that sort of production. They're turning the ball over. They're getting it back to their offense to score the ball more. And then I didn't even talk about Mr. Dadi up front, Frederick, who's racking up all these offers. Again, they have some dynamic playmakers on the defensive side of the ball as well. And stats online is showing up in the stats that they're making plays. They're getting better, okay? So I like the fact that on the defense, they have some playmakers, okay? They're making the plays that are made to be made. Defense coordinator coaching them up again. I had mentioned him earlier, Coach Spencer Atkins. I know he's a very, very aggressive coach. He's an aggressive person. So coach run them over. You're going to put your players in positions to make plays, and they have that sort of defense. However, I don't know if St. John Newman's defensive line can stand up to that 1,500-pound guy that community school has there. Much as I love Daddy, much as I love Swole Boy, Junior Joseph, I'm looking on Friday. That's the matchup, okay? Because it's, hey, styles make fights, okay? So community school wants to throw the big right hand, okay? St. John Neumann, they want to hit you with combinations, okay? They want to hit you in the body. They want to hit you in the head, okay? They want to stick you with the jab, okay? They want to hit you with the combination of punches. Community school, they're going to keep slugging, and they're going to keep looking to land the big right hand, running the ball, and having Tanelus bust one and grind you over 4 quarters. So I don't know if St. John Neumann will be able to stand up to that run game. Okay, that's going to be a key factor. So those of you that are at that game, I'm looking forward to once the game is over, breaking down the game, how it plays out based upon my analysis going into the game. I'd love to see if St. John Neumann can slow the big, powerful community school offensive line. Right now, I don't think they will. I think Tanelus is going to have a big night. And what I like about Tanelus is once he gets to the second level, St. John Neumann, you don't have nobody that's going to be able to bring down talent. Okay? He's too talented. It's just like I was speaking very highly of Jayden. You know, you don't have nobody in community school. You don't have nobody that can deal with talent. That's why those two kids are power forward, skilled players. They're going to make their plays. They're going to be dynamic, and I'm going to celebrate all the big plays those two make. I hope it is a up and down. I hope it's a track meet. I want those boys to make a whole lot of plays so I can talk about this game at length. But I don't think St. John Neumann, once he gets to the second level, if he gets to the second level, if your defensive line can't hold up the community school, Tanelus is going to run all over you guys Friday night. He's just that special player. So let me say this. So that's my analysis. What I like, what I don't like between these two football programs. And I just look at it like this, man. If community school, you start off slow Friday night, you're in trouble. So you better come out, establish your game plan early. Run the ball, dominate, shorten the game, okay? By running, moving the chains, then let Tanelus do what he do, you know. But if you come out slow, St. John Neumann come out hot, St. John Newman's going to beat you that game. But beside that, who do I like? Who do I like? Okay? I felt one way coming into this game. But after reviewing the stats and looking at the season and parting it, and doing a deeper dive of the players, and coaches, and things that I found out recently and what I've been studying all year long, I have to, this is my prediction. St. John Newman's going to win that game Friday night. St. John Neumann is going to beat community school in their building and win the conference that night. The game comes down to big plays and big playmakers. They have more big-time playmakers, okay? I love some of the physical players, and I love some of the talent, but what community school is missing, and I'm really surprised. I thought they had more guys coming into the building that were going to be able to be playmakers, but they don't have guys that can get over the top. They got a special elite running back. Elite running back. St. John Newman's game plan, I would say, if it was me, you know, I'm not going to let Tanelus beat me. I'm going to slow him down. I'm not going to shut him down. He's that great of a player. But I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I'm going to have 8, 9 in the box, okay? And I'm going to match up my best corners with your wide receiver. And I believe my guys are better than your guys. And we're going to dedicate ourselves to bottling up talents, okay? And that's where the downfall is going to be for community school, in my opinion. If St. John Newman doesn't turn it over, doesn't play undisciplined. If both teams play their games, okay, I think St. John Newman just has too much firepower. Okay, they can do too many one-play drives. Okay, and outside of Tanelus, hitting the crease, here and there, he go with a one-play drive as well. But St. John Newman just had too many guys that they can just give the ball to, and they can go the distance anytime they touch the ball. Community school doesn't have that. So I look for St. John Newman to come out victorious on Friday night. I'm looking for a great game. I'm looking for a lot of explosive plays. I can't wait to break down the biggest matchup of the year today. So that's my breakdown of St. John Newman and the community.